It's summertime and there's a lot of stuff coming out soon, but what has been released so far in 2019? Well, today we're looking at the top e-readers of 2019 so far. In no particular order, the Kobo Forma. The Kobo Forma is a giant 8-inch capacitive screen with a resolution of 1440 by 1920 with 300 ppi. This thing was great, it looked awesome, although it did take a lot of its styling cues from the previously released Oasis with its asymmetrical design depending on how you're holding it. It came in two variants, the 8GB and the 32GB. The 32GB was only available in Japan right out of the gates. It then crept into a couple other markets like Canada and a few other countries. It has 197 grams to its weight, 512 MB RAM, 1 GHz processor, and it does not have an SD card. Hitting up our list for a second time is another Kobo device, the Kobo Klara HD. This is a 6-inch with 300 ppi, so you know it's going to look great, and it does. The back has a very nice design to it, giving you a high level of grip. It still has 1 GHz processor, 512 MB RAM, and only 8 gigs of internal storage. This actually shares its design pound for pound with the Tolino Shine 3 out of Europe. This is because they're basically made from the same place and using the same shell. This thing did have a little bit of an interesting start because everyone thought when they filed for the FCC clearance that it was going to be another Kobo Mini because we haven't seen one in a while, and they had already made a 6-inch device. But when it came out, it was a 6-inch, thus kind of disappointing people right out of the gates until they started to use it and realized it's absolutely fantastic. It would not be a top list without the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite 4. Paperwhite 4 is a 6-inch with 1072 by 1448 HD capacitive touchscreen with 300 ppi. They didn't really do a whole bunch of advancements over the previous generations. It's really just kind of another generation of it, although it is IPX8 certified, so that does mean it is waterproof, and it has better PDF capabilities, less crashing, less force closing, and all that kind of stuff. It's also $119, which is fantastic. Kindle, despite what anybody says, and this isn't my opinion, but it is the opinion of evidently the entire e-reader world, that the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite is the best-selling e-reader ever made, so we had to put it on the list. Coming out of Europe, the PocketBook InkPad 3. It's a 7.8-inch e-ink Carta display with 1872 by 1404 with 300 ppi. For front lighting capabilities, it has 10 white LEDs and 9 orange LEDs. One of the big advantages of this is that you can really white balance your device with all that range. You have a 1 GHz dual-core processor with a gig of RAM. If you guys don't know about PocketBook by now, you gotta look them up because they've basically been in the game as long as e-readers have been around, and it's very fitting to put them on a top list. This device sold so well that we had to put PocketBook on our list again. This is the Touch HD3, proven to be one of the best sellers of their brand in 2019. It's an eCarta HD screen with 1440 by 1080, 300 ppi. It has front lit, so you can read in the dark and all that kind of stuff. It also has IPX7 rating, so you can submerge it in water, and it's completely waterproof. Dual-core 1 GHz processor, 512 of RAM, but the most interesting thing about this is the integrated audio features. So it comes with a USB audio adapter and Bluetooth built in, and it does support a MP3, M4B, and a whole bunch of other formats. It also has text-to-speech, and PocketBook basically pioneered the whole e-reader dongle thing before a lot of other companies started to adopt it, so this thing is definitely worth taking a look at if you haven't seen it before. Throwing in a couple professional e-readers, and this brand has actually been in the game as long as PocketBook. They've just celebrated their 10-year diamond anniversary. This is the Onyx Books Note Pro. Onyx Books Note Pro is a 10.3-inch 1872 by 1404, 227 ppi, but this is for note-taking. It has a stylus support, it has 1.6 GHz quad-core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs of storage, dual speakers, microphone, Bluetooth, USB-C, Wi-Fi, the list goes on. This company is a giant. They've released 10 different note-taking devices and devices in their current lineup. They've had 13.3s all the way down to 6 inches. They've basically covered the ground in terms of screen sizes, and they've withstood the test of time. Onyx is a huge player in the game, and if you haven't heard of these guys yet, watch our videos on YouTube. We've done some company profiles on these guys. They're definitely worth taking a look at and making a purchase decision. Coming out at the end of 2018 in China and not being available in English till 2019, this is the MiMAS by Boyu. The Likebook MiMAS is 10.3-inch capacitive touchscreen with a Wacom layer, of course, 1872 by 1404. This thing had a 1.5 GHz octa-core processor, 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of internal storage. It does have an SD card slot. It has a huge 4700 milliamp battery. Likebook is one of those brands that hasn't been around incredibly long, but is re-releasing some very interesting stuff recently, and the Alita is soon going to replace the Likebook MiMAS. There is no date when it is available yet, but Likebook as well as Onyx is definitely worth taking a look at. We're halfway through the year of 2019 and already we've seen some really nice stuff come out. What do you think of our list of our top e-readers, both professional and consumer grade? If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or disagree with us, which we know a lot of you guys do, hit us up in the comments down below and we'll have some nice conversations. For Goodereader.com and a top e-reader list of 2019, this is Peter.